That another shocking revelation is making waves. A civil society coalition has alleged a well-funded plot to destabilize the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and blackmail President Tinubu. Billions of naira, we're told, have already been raised, with at least 100 million naira earmarked to buy the support of public commentators. The report is calling out civil society groups, lawyers, journalists, and even a major labor center. The alleged sponsors are said to be government officials already facing corruption cases who are desperate to derail the anti-graft war. Recall that the EFCC's leadership has a history of sharp, sometimes abrupt exits under political pressure or controversy, from Nuhu Ribadu in 2007 to Farida Waziri in 2011, Ibrahim Lamode in 2015, and Ibrahim Mago in 2020. Each episode reinforced the reality that strong anti-graft chairs often make powerful enemies. That history is why allegations of a coordinated plot to bring down the EFCC are raising serious concern today. But how true is this allegation? Let's bring in convener of the National Interest Coalition, the group that made these revelations public at a press conference in Abuja, Bashir Abdul. Mr. Abdul, thank you for joining us on the program. Let's get some clarity to the really big claims your CSO is making. You're saying that members of your governing council were offered 100 million naira to join this scheme, and that about 7 billion naira has been raised to tarnish the image of the EFCC chairman. Who exactly made the offer? When and where did it happen? And do you have proofs to back these claims?
Thank you for having me, Mr. Nifemi. As you know, when there's an ongoing investigation, we can't reveal such information publicly, but all relevant agencies have these documents and evidences, and we are sure they will act on it. You know, EFCC has always been under pressure from politicians who feel investigations will open up maybe an exit gate for them when they are in power. This is exactly what happened when a meeting was convened and 2 of our board members were invited. They were offered 100 million naira just to be part of the scheme against the EFCC chairman, who, as you know, has brought so many changes, many developments to the EFCC at the moment. If you know EFCC of the past, right from the gate, you know this is not the EFCC that it used to be. They are more organized, more professional, and when you file a petition, it goes up electronically. Before you know it, they will call you when they are ready for investigation. This is why in 2024, they recorded the highest number of convictions ever in the EFCC in an operating year. There were over 4,111 convicted cases by the EFCC, and this is all due to the efforts of Mr. Ola Olukaide of the EFCC. The people trying to bring him down, I won't mention names, but when investigations are rife, I'm sure the whole country will be aware of what is going on.
I get you. I understand your reservation about holding back on the proofs that you claim to have, but you know, it's your word, and I doubt if I'm going to leave it to the viewer to decide how to think or how to react on the claims you're making. But the curious mind is thinking, did any of your governing council members record or document the private meeting in which this offer was made? Are there corroborating third-party witnesses who can testify? You have also accused you've accused journalists of being funded from Dubai accounts. Because as we speak now, you are addressing the media. And journalists are curious to know, what proof do you have to avoid accusing journalists without due process?
As I told you, there are ongoing investigations, and mentioning names will jeopardize the effort of the EFCC trying to get to the bottom of these allegations. It's better we allow them to do their job. When the time is right, everyone will know what is going on. And I'm sure under Mr. Ola Olukayede, the EFCC will do the right thing and at the right time.
But given the magnitude of your allegations, and especially because it's the EFCC that is involved, you mentioned that you've reported. Which intelligence agency precisely are you talking about? Did you submit only to the EFCC? Did you carry the DSS along, or any other security agencies precisely are working on this?
No, because the source of the funds were suspecting illicit sums. As we told you, they have a pool of over 7 billion, as they told our Board of Trustee members. So we know that some issue of money laundering is involved. That is why only the EFCC has been engaged by our coalition.
Will NICO publish the evidence publicly if EFCC fails to act?
I am sure they will do the right thing. I'm very, very sure they will do the right thing, because the matter affects even the head of the EFCC. They are trying to, there's even attempts to induce him several pleas, because the matter stems from the fact that they have cases to answer at the EFCC. So everything is surrounded around the EFCC. They were expecting, when this government came, they will get a very favorable treatment from the EFCC. Unknown to them, it is no longer as it used to be. Mr. Ola Olukayede was vehement that investigations must go on. If you can remember, the EFCC have, under Mr. Ola Olukayede, is investigating several high-profile cases. There are about 4 ex-governors, some of which are even members of the ruling party, and they are being investigated. So who is a mayor appointee when a former governor is being investigated?
I hear you, but you know, it's not the first time we've heard allegations of this kind and they have been swept under the carpet. You have stated that the plotters are current office holders. I'm assuming within this administration who have corruption cases. You don't have intent to name them publicly, but are you also concerned that if the details of these allegations do not come to limelight, the integrity of you and your group is at stake?
Yes, I think you may have a point there, but that is why they are called allegations, and that is why we did not mention any name. We have only pointed the EFCC to the right direction, and we are sure, even if there is, we have not mentioned a name, so nobody will say we are accusing him personally of doing something. So it's now left for the EFCC to investigate. If the matter is worth investigating, they will do it, and if it warrants a prosecution, I'm sure they will get it.
Based on the information you have, what is the end game you heard from these plotters? What really are they after?
They want to go scot-free and then maintain their offices, because their offices are being threatened by those corruption allegations. If the EFCC goes ahead to really investigate them and prosecutes them, definitely they will lose those seats. And unfortunately, they did not. These are mayor appointees who did not even toil for the government to come into power. They only came on board when the government has already won election. So I don't think the government will even will find it difficult to deal with them if these allegations are confirmed.
Some might argue that your coalition or your CSO is being used by government to counter critics of the EFCC or even this administration. How independent is your organization and who funds your activities?
So the coalition is coming together of several Nigerians of like minds. We have industry captains, we have public servants, we have journalists, we have several professionals from various fields who come together to form the board, the governing board, the council, and then the General Assembly of the National Interest Coalition. If you had seen us yesterday, we had a march to the EFCC in order to show our support and encourage the current chairman to continue his work the way he is doing it, because if you hear members of the ruling party complaining about the actions of the anti-corruption watchdog, you know they are doing the right thing. In the past, it has always been the opposition complaining about the actions of the anti-corruption watchdog. But these days, under this current leadership and the support of the president, who gave them a free hand to do their job, even members of their party are complaining. Whoever complains, if he has nothing to hide, EFCC is not a hostile organization. If they invite you, they are always civil. They ask you questions, you give them answers. If they find anything incriminating, they don't detain you indefinitely. They make sure that you are taken to court immediately. So if they have nothing to hide, they shouldn't be worried. They shouldn't be worried.
You know, an obvious point to make here is that the National Interest Coalition appears like an interested party. You've already taken a side supporting the EFCC and its chair. Are you saying there is no possibility this is a false flag, a planted story to distract perhaps away from other issues?
I must state here that we are non-partisan. We are merely a group of patriots who view issues from national lens.
But you mentioned that you had the march yesterday in solidarity of the EFCC and its leadership.
Yes, that is not a partisan activity, is it? It's not a partisan activity. He's a public office holder, and we are satisfied. We are impressed by the way he is running the office, and because people are criticizing what they are doing, we need to show Nigerians that there are other set of Nigerians who are happy with what is going on in the EFCC. If you see us yesterday, we ran out of placards actually, because people that were not supposed to be part of the movement, because they saw what we are going for, where we went out for a corruption-free Nigeria. That was why we went out. If you see the people, some of them, we don't even know where they came from, and they joined us, because every Nigerian wants a corruption-free country.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we'll probe this further and get some more details as to some of the allegations you're making. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Bashir Abdul is the convener of the National Interest Coalition, and saying that there's a 7 billion naira plot to break down the image of the EFCC and its chair. He joins us tonight to give clarity to some of these claims. Thank you for staying the course. Let us talk about the EFCC for a minute. It's had a turbulent history with past chairmen removed under controversial circumstances, and some would say that has been, you know, the reality for people who have been appointed to chair this commission. Why do you believe this moment is different, and how credible is the threat of history, you know, repeating itself this time?
So from the way the current chairman is running the commission professionally, we hope, because if you could remember, there used to be some elements in the EFCC who were adopted from other agencies. Now the agency has rid of all those other agencies, and it's only the EFCC staff that work in the EFCC, and they are more professional now. The trainings they receive is for real anti-corruption fight. And I'm sure the chairman from, you know, a good in Hausa, there's an adage we have in Hausa that Juma'a mai kyau daga Laraba ake gane ta, which means a Friday that will be good, you will be able to know right from Wednesday. So from the way he started, the record number of cases they have convicted, they received in 2024 alone, they received over 12,000 petitions. They investigated them, and then they charged to court about 5,083 cases, out of which over 80% have been convicted, and the remainder, some have been acquitted while some are still ongoing. So it's unprecedented what he is doing, and we pray and hope, as Nigerians, we like to pray a lot, so we pray and hope he keeps up the tempo.
So assuming that the EFCC have evidence that you provided, is there a sense to which you're worried that your public allegations could interfere with ongoing legal processes or even risk tipping off suspects? How does NICO balance going public with preserving the integrity of this investigation?
That is exactly why we have not mentioned any name, we have not mentioned anybody, we have not mentioned even the venue where the meeting took place, because these are facts that are very delicate at this point in time. So we don't want to play with them. We will allow it to the professionals for them to scrutinize carefully and see what they can get out of it.
I want you to speak to Nigerians who are wary of both corruption and politicized anti-corruption stance because of what has happened in the past, the rich history, you know, that preceded this current reality.
We were in this country where a lot of corruption cases, especially for politically exposed persons, were dropped overnight and no reason is given. That is why I'm sure the current EFCC chairman is trying to make an example out of these current people that have been pressurizing him, gone to villages to talk to the elders and what have you, just to make him drop the investigation, and he has refused. We have seen cases where sitting governors file bogus petitions against their former governors only for the EFCC to sift through, and whether they are from the ruling party or they are from the opposition, they sift through under this administration to make sure whoever they are after, at the end of the day, it will not be called a witch hunt. It is the fight against corruption. If your hands are dirty, you can't come to equity.
And you think that the EFCC, under its current leadership, really has the freedom to go after corrupt politicians and not those is permitted to investigate? You know, because the perception is rife that EFCC goes after those in the opposition. I'm sure you've heard allegations of such coming from the coalition ADC itself recently.
There's a case against former governor of Kogi State, everyone is aware, who is a stalwart of the ruling party, who is very close to the president. And as we speak, the case is still ongoing. He is in court. So from the actions of the current EFCC leadership, you can see that there is a new sheriff in town in the EFCC.
Although we've heard Mr. Olukoyede insist that President Tinubu doesn't interfere with EFCC work, critics still question the agency's independence due to political context. We've heard him talk about a free hand for the EFCC from the presidency, but many are still quite skeptical. Do you see the EFCC being perceived as a political instrument, especially when prosecuting politically sensitive cases? Because it matters how Nigerians across board feel about this agency. You've mentioned the case of the Kogi the former Kogi State governor. We also understand his stance prior to that election. But that's, I really doubt if you can mention 10 from the top of your head as we speak who currently perhaps serve under this administration or who are loyal to Mr. President.
There are several people who are loyal to the president who have lost their jobs in this government and were investigated by the EFCC. A former minister had to let go because of corruption charges. Somebody within the party also had to go because of corruption charges. And I think corruption allegations. I think we will be fair to say that at least the president has given them a free hand to investigate whoever they feel or whoever they receive a petition against. If he has a case to answer, the president doesn't interfere. We have seen it. We have seen it so far.
You mentioned the former minister. Except the case is going on in secrecy, we haven't heard any particular position of the EFCC as regards that case. Not that I'm aware of. Perhaps you have an update on that for us. But we need to go now. I want us to... Please go ahead. You want to say something?
Go on.
All right, beautiful. I want us to speak to what do you think, because you've given the federal government and I think the EFCC 72-hour ultimatum. Precisely what are you asking them to do now?
At least we need to see some actions. We need to see some actions because what we alleged are very big and they go to the roots of the fight against corruption. And as you know, corruption is one of the main reasons why this country is not has been underdeveloped since independence. So we expect a swift action from the EFCC as soon as possible.
So I asked you that earlier. If you don't hear anything from the EFCC, would you go public with the evidence that you have?
No, we may only decide to change the agency, but I don't think it will come to that. We won't go public with any names. We are not a security agency. We are not an anti-corruption, a chartered anti-corruption agency. So we don't have the power to prosecute and investigate. So we can only point the investigators to where we think there is an issue for them to investigate.
Bashir Abdul is convener of the National Interest Coalition. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. We're looking forward to hear more from the EFCC as regards it, especially in the next 72 hours. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
That's our show today, everyone. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.